This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com. This show is brought to you by Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza. Production services by Sidekick Media Services. And listeners like you, supporting us at patreon.com/AwesomeCast.
I'm getting awesome! don't care, I love it.
It's time to get geeky, get awesome. It's the AwesomeCast. I'm Mike Sorg at Sorgatron on the Twitter here in the Sorgatron Media Studios in Pittsburgh, PA, ready to talk all things geeky. And with us, we got our crew, and we're waiting for one to come back. But in the meantime, Dudders is with us. How you doing, Dudders? Back with us. And
yes,
we're talking your first haircut in a year.
Yes. First official haircut in a year. Yeah.
Yes.
I grew long enough that I could get a cut.
If you're on audio, it's poofy. It's wild.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. It's so funny because I get a lot of like, weren't you blonde before? And I was like,
oh,
yep.
Yeah.
Chemo said I'm now a dark-haired, thick, wavy-haired person, which is all a brand new experience.
Well, here's the thing. Like, so you have no idea what's going to look like as you grow it out, and I imagine you'll probably end up long again eventually, but.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a complete like rediscovery of your hair.
I know. I'm like this OMG surprise.
Yes.
Like for hair.
Hairdo surprise. Absolutely. And let's see if he's back with us from Studio C in the Big D of Dormont, PA. He's the gadget guru of Big Bank International Esquire. He is John Chilla. Listen, man, I told you I've been having these like long breath problems over the last couple of weeks with my long haul over here, and your intro apparently is one of those problems.
I'm honestly wiping blood off myself. So.
Oh no, what happened? We get a bit. The intro's rolling. He's like, "I'm gonna need a minute," and walks away. And I'm like, "What?" So, did you have an injury? Did you have a podcast related injury? I don't know if our insurance covers that.
No, so I got to be quiet because my kid doesn't want to tell the wife, and we're on air. So if she watches this, obviously she'll figure out. Have you ever seen those little capsules that you dissolve in water, and the little sponge animal pops out?
Oh yeah, like a while ago.
Well,
okay.
if you take that capsule and you break it apart and you shove half the capsule up your nose, it gets stuck up there. My kid just figured that out real quick.
Oh no.
He came down freaking out. He's like, I got something stuck up my nose. And then I got him. I held down the one, and I'm like, you got to breathe out. And he breathed out through his mouth. So, like, no, you got to close your mouth and breathe out. So, or blow out. And it shot out, hit me in the arm, and there was blood all over it. So I'm like, that's why I needed a minute.
Wait. So I'm sorry. I'm still coordinating this, and I'm sorry if anybody's listening to this while eating. So was it like nose blood on your arm?
Yeah.
Now? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was like blood from the capsule, like a fake thing or something.
No,
but,
it was real. It was authentic.
Oh boy. See. Already we're learning things. Don't stick those things up your nose.
Yeah.
So, jeez.
And that concludes Chilla's awesome thing of the week.
Yeah. It's more of a tip of the week, isn't it? And here we are with your awesome tip of the week.
It's a tip, a tick, or a trick, and a nugget.
Yeah. Yes, all of the above, absolutely. This is the AwesomeCast, where we try not to stick things up our nose, but sometimes we fail at that. You can check out everything at awesomecast.com. You can email us at awesomecast@sorgatronmedia.com for comments and advertising opportunities that we have available for you. Tweet us at AwesomeCast, and of course, follow the AwesomeCast Facebook page and group. A lot of stories shared throughout the week, and we do share clips from the show, like the inevitable one that we're going to share of this conversation we just had about sticking things up your nose. And also, please subscribe and rate us on your favorite podcast app or wherever you watch your video version. We do welcome your comments. I do respond to the comments whenever I see that they've come through, and thank you for that, for everybody that is interacting with us, like say on the YouTube or the TikToks or anything like that. You can also listen to your AwesomeCast podcast on your Amazon Echo or Google device or your car, I don't know, these days, or the McDonald's drive-thru. There's a story that we'll have to get to now. And of course, we're live every Tuesday on the AwesomeCast Facebook page, the AwesomeCast YouTube page, as well as over on the Sorgatron Media Twitch page. And thank you to their audio partners that have been carrying us, the 405media.com, and our friends that have been sharing us with their audience, Post-Industrial .com right here in town. Let's get. Oh, hey, why did I almost? Oh, something formatting happened here. I want to give a shout out to our Patreon supporters at patreon.com/awesomecast. They're helping keep the lights on here in the studio here in Beachview. And so a big shout out to our friends at the Coffee Club, Matt Weller, John DeGore, John Carmen, and Cynthia Klosky. And our friends at the Fan of the Show level, Michael Fedor, pghmuseums.org, Professor Buzzkill at his great podcast, and Dave Podner. Again, you guys can support, you can support the show at patreon.com/awesomecast, and I'm pretty sure you're going to get the clip this week talking about how Zoom has scared me. There's something that happens with Zoom we haven't gotten used to, where just people have been lurking and don't tell me about it when we're talking about things, and sometimes maybe them, Chilla. But let's get into our awesome things of the week. Katie, you have to catch up with us on the new things happening in Animal Crossing the last 2 weeks.
Oh gosh. So this past week we got Mario. Mario came to the island. We had an update. I think it was like February 26th or something. And we had the update. But the sneaky thing is like Mario didn't actually show up until March 1st.
Did Mario big league everybody?
No. There were comments online saying that that's how they usually do things. They have time to test and make sure that things are working on, have people test it and such. But very disappointed. Mario did not show up till March 1st. But I want to talk about that a little bit later, because I've got some tips on how to actually enjoy the Mario being on your island. But my big thing coming up next is Hello Kitty is we got a Sanrio crossover happening on Animal Crossing.
Yes.
Yeah. We got not just Hello Kitty, it's like Karapi, there's a whole Melody, there's a whole gaggle of Sanrio character items coming to Animal Crossing. And it doesn't start, it's weird because it's the amiibo kind of cards, if you've ever seen those from Animal Crossing. And they'll be at Target, and it's $5.99 for a pack of cards. But then you get to buy these new neighbors that have Hello Kitty items.
Yeah, I just saw the Hello Kitty hat on the video here.
Yeah, it's super, super cute. Like there's a lot of cute furniture items and, hats and clothes, and because who doesn't want to be a little Hello Kitty?
That's awesome. So like there's no Hello Kitty. It's Hello Kitty items. It's not like the Mario that's supposed to come in, right?
No. So, well, it's the same thing with the Mario coming to the island though too, because it's just dress up and items too. So yeah, similar things. Kind of get to play in both worlds.
So I'm noticing. So you mentioned the cards, and they're marked as amiibo. I thought amiibos were more or less done with Nintendo. Am I wrong with that?
Oh no, they're still a thing.
Oh, okay. And these are the statues, kind of like the Disney Infinity was this, whereas like you get the little toy statues. They have like an RFID chip, and they'll unlock stuff in video games, basically, right? So that's basically what's happening here. But they're not that. But they're cards. Like, so they're amiibo cards.
Yep, they're like little guys. They're cute little. They're actually pretty cute looking cards too. And but that's how you get these new islanders. I'm assuming we're gonna have to at some point wait till a neighbor moves out before we'll be able to move in one of these characters, which is kind of Nintendo's thrown a couple caveats with these last couple fun adventures they've added. So it's a little bit like, I want to do it now, but you're like, I gotta wait a little bit.
Okay. So wait. So is it you could only have so many neighbors, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
You have 10 neighbors at a time on your island. And but it looks like it's going to be one of those things where you have to wait for somebody to move out, and then you can move in one of these fun new friends and of your choosing with your amiibo cards. And I guess over time, hopefully, everybody moves more neighbors, and then you get more friends.
I wonder if you can scan a card more than once, because you can scan the amiibos more than once.
Really? Because I have a certain little niece that will also need to partake in these cards.
you have to try out, because like the last one I have two. So I have the Link and Metroid, but the Link one, if you scanned it inside of Link's Awakening, you got to unlock some additional stuff, and then back in the original Zelda, and also in what was it? One of the games you could unlock additional characters. So they do let you unlock some stuff too.
Awesome. Let's have
I
some,
think, like I said, I know you can scan the Zelda on multiple
you
devices.
have amiibo sharing parties because they're
Yes.
they're probably not unique. It's probably just here's a Zelda and they all have the same code, right? I would imagine.
I guess. I don't know.
So I would imagine. So we'll see. Or maybe there's like you can only scan so many times or something crazy like that. So I don't know. Otherwise, it kills the resale value. But I guess games have been doing that with codes for a while. Chilla, what is your awesome thing of the week?
My awesome thing of the week is very technical, unless you like things that glow in the dark. And I had to order one of these. I have no clue where I'm going to hang it up yet. But who released this? Bottleneck Gallery released a new Star Wars poster called "There Aren't Many Jedi Left," and it's the Ahsoka Tano scene from Mandalorian. Hopefully, this isn't a spoiler. But it's one of the scenes from Mandalorian, and then when you turn out the lights, hey, it glows. And if you scroll down the page there, it shows one of the fight scenes in the glow in the dark mode. It sounds like they're going to have some limited edition ones that are black and white and may get randomly inserted into the orders with the timed edition. But I'm super excited to have this. It's interesting because of the size of it. It's kind of like reminds me of an old school big long scroll versus being, or your 11 by 17 or 24 by 36 like movie poster size.
Say, how big is this one?
How big is it? Did they give dimensions?
Because
it's in like a six. It's 12 inches by 36 inches.
Oof. Okay, that's a good size. Because I was wondering.
So 1 foot tall by 3 feet wide.
That's not bad. Because the characters just seemed like they were kind of small on it. But no, that's a pretty good size for on the wall, isn't it?
Now, unfortunately, these are no longer on sale. They were on sale from Wednesday, February 24th through Sunday, February 28th.
Chilla is sharing his awesome thing of the week that you can't have.
I only ordered one of these, so there's no investment side. But it was $50. The cool thing that I thought was it wasn't like hey, buy these until they get sold out. It was, we will make as many as you buy. So who knows how many got bought. But super cool. I thought it was a super cool way to bring the Mandalorian home.
Awesome. So you can go check that out in the article, but or you can go to Chilla's house after this pandemic ends, apparently, to check it out in person. So we're going to just all come over, and you can just flipping the lights off and on just for us to go, ooh, ah. So my awesome thing of the week, hey, it's about Mars again, you guys. So I love it. Just well, we learned last week that the new Mars rover, Perseverance, is it runs on Linux, or at least I think the helicopter drone part does. But also we learned that it runs on the same processor as an iMac from 1998. So we're talking about like those Motorola 233 gigahertz processors. Yeah, something like you'd see in an iMac, in a Bondi Blue iMac or something. It's a PowerPC 750 single core 233 megahertz, has just 6 million transistors, and of course, like I said, Bondi Blue iMacs from 1998, according to The Verge. And so the idea is like, yeah, we can stick like a higher end processor. Obviously, we have more, but apparently because of the radiation exposure and the harsh conditions, the more complicated hardware you get, and we're talking about transistors and things like that, the more chance something will go wrong, short out, the radiation will mess with it. So that's why we're specifically going to such a comparatively uncomplicated CPU from 1998 rather than a they get the example of a Intel $500 Core i9 for example with 10 cores. So I thought that was really interesting and a real reason not to stick the highest end stuff in there. I'm sure there's plenty of stuff in there. I mean, this is a specialized build. I'm sure even just getting that one chip was a little more expensive than what you'd stick into your iMac over there. So, they're rounding out the stats at the bottom of this thing too. It has a mere 256 megabytes of RAM. In case you're looking to build your own rover, it says. So 2 gigabytes of flash memory, 8 times the storage. So yeah. So fun little bits still coming from Mars. We sent an iMac to Mars, more or less, on wheels that controls a drone. So, but loving that. So, also, I want to give a shout out to our friends at Slice on Broadway. Our friends at sliceonbroadway.com, giving that shout out, still supporting. I can't wait for us to have our Tuesday night pizza parties again. I feel like it's around the bend. I hope it's around the bend. Everybody's getting their vaccine. I'm seeing it across plenty of people in the Sorgatron media, but yeah, I want to give a shout out to them. They're in soon to be. I don't know when the new 4th location is opening up there in the North Hills, but go check that out. I believe that's up in Wexford area. And there's the graphic. I'll throw that up there. Over in Beachview, Carnegie, East End, and the North Hills, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with a perfect pepperoni pizza, New York style. Yins are made. Check them out at sliceonbroadway.com. So, what do we got next here? Oh, geez, not a touchscreen. Guys, I surround myself with touchscreens here in the studio, and then I get so many fingerprints on my MacBook. So let's see what we want to dig in here. I guess since I kind of mentioned at the top of the show, apparently McDonald's is looking into adding artificial intelligence to help increase speed, order, and accuracy, including apparently, and I don't know if this article explains it well because I heard it on the podcast. I was trying to find one for the show. When you're, I know here and over on West Liberty, we got the really cool, and most of them seem to have this, the big digital boards and everything. They're really helpful, and they'll actually take off the milkshakes when the milkshake machine's broken. So basically, they never have it on the menu, but still. But apparently, it works. They have a robotic female voice. This is in the Chicago area that they're testing this out right now. It works sort of like Alexa and Sleep. Sorry, did I wake her up? We were arguing earlier today. She's mad at me. Yeah, but like your Echo or your Google Home, and and it'll respond to you accordingly and ask you if you want fries with that and everything. So I thought that was interesting, especially since we ran through the drive-through today, and there was a very surly voice on the other end. But hey, one less person that has to sound happy to ruin the experience, I suppose, is interesting. So, but and the article also goes into, and I guess, and we've seen this before because we've seen other, like, hey, here's a concept, like there was like a drive-through based concept that Burger King was looking at rolling out that we talked about a few months ago, I think. I mean, you probably see it when you drive around. Like the lines in drive-throughs are ridiculous, or spilling out on the road and causing traffic problems on West Liberty, right? So obviously, all these companies have kind of focused. They said McDonald's usage, I don't know which word is up to 70% of McDonald's business is done through a drive-through now. So we don't have dining rooms open at most places. So there's been a big focus on that kind of situation. So, but I don't know. Have you?
I'm interested if they'll get my order right now.
I know, right? That's why if we go someplace that has an app, we order with the app, so we don't have to do that, right?
But here's the weird thing, and I feel like it's me. I get the McGriddle with bacon, and I ask them to add sausage. So it's like double meat. And I will say it always comes up correctly on the board.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the person on the inside making the thing is where it gets messed up.
So here's the thing too, because sometimes, I think one thing that happens depending on how they're set up is maybe everybody can hear the orders, and they just hear that or something, or I don't know. You know,
I don't know.
I've never worked fast food, but like, to me it just, you know, like you see it on the board, you know, it's kind of I hate it when they had the screens and they wouldn't work half the time, and that's the time they would screw up the order because I couldn't vet it, right?
Mhm.
So, or you go through and I'm like, we didn't get X, and I'm like, is it on the receipt? And they just absolutely completely missed it from what we said, right? That's why, like, the app or touchscreen is just like, it's one less. I don't have to play telephone. You're literally playing telephone with your order, you know? And for whatever reason, you know, like, I can barely hear them down at Arby's. Like, I don't know what is wrong with that speaker, but you know, I'm like hanging halfway out the door trying to hear them. So, but anyways, let's see. Katie, what do you want to hit up over here?
Oh, let's talk about Animal Crossing.
More Animal Crossing, of course.
More.
What do you
It
got?
never ends.
So we had Mario stuff come to our island,
Mhm.
and you were able to buy essentially hats. Well, with Mario, Wario, and Luigi, hat, mustache, clothes, and shoes. Princess Peach, you could buy her crown, her dress, and her shoes. So we were able to start dressing up like our favorite Mario characters. And you were also getting like the coin blocks, 1-up blocks, the shell, you know, a star. There was what I'm trying to think of, and the warp pipe's a big one. The flag's a big one too. So we got all these really cool items on Animal Crossing, and they showed up on March 1st in your you're able to order them through either the machine of resident services or on your phone. You're able to do it on the game on your phone. And the funny, annoying thing, I think, with Nintendo that they did this, it kind of makes me a little annoyed, was they did a thing. So you could order up to 5 things a day for yourself and have them shipped to your house, but they take a whole day to get to your house. So not until the next day. And then you can send 2 items to your friends. So you had this list of like 30 some, I forget how many items are on there, but it's like 30 some items, but you could only order so many at a time, gotta wait till the next day. So fun tip with this real quick that I did, at least with my niece, because it was Mario Day and she was gonna be absolutely heartbroken if we didn't have every bit of Mario stuff that first day. So as the good Aunt Titi does, she ordered the things, time traveled, ordered the things, time traveled, you know, like continued this process. It took me, I think, like half hour, 45 minutes to do. Was able to grab all the items out of my mailbox and then fly to her island, just drop everything for her, fly back to my island, and then time travel to the correct time. So that might work for you if you want all the items. Yeah, it was a little bit of work that I didn't anticipate in doing for Mario Day. But the thing I want to talk about are the warp pipes that were super cool, and they actually work. So you could buy multiple warp pipes, and if you have 1 and 2, they go one to the other. You know, you can place them wherever you want on the island. Everything makes the noise like in Mario games, which is a super cool added bonus. But you can buy multiple warp pipes, and you won't necessarily come out the same one each time, which is fun. And I found this fun article where you can talk about, there were some folks who got really creative with their warp pipes, and which I think I'm going to have to do with mine. And they're using it, essentially one person was keeping one inside their house and then one in their pocket at all times. So if they had to go back home for whatever reason, they just drop the warp pipe, jump in, and they go home, which was super cool idea.
So
some folks...
Does it snap back into your pocket after you use it then, or do you have to go back?
You're gonna have to go back and pick it up later.
Okay.
But...
You can jump back in the warp pipe, right, and get to where that other warp pipe was.
That's right. And then pick it up again. So I like that idea. Some folks were making what looked like subway stations. They were using the warp pipes, not anything necessarily to do with Nintendo or Mario, but making subways. That you could just jump into a pipe and show up somewhere else, and they have little subway stations or train stations or bus, you know, kind of like transportation stations, which is super cute. Like there's the one in the video you're showing right now where he the little character walks up the steps or walks down the steps to the warp pipe is like a subway.
I love it.
Can you if you are allowed to visit someone else's island, can you use their warp pipe?
Yeah,
Very
I spent part of the day playing a game with my niece where it was like jump down warp pipe, see where we ended up when we were like chasing each other. Like, so I would suggest if you can get multiple warp pipes just for the fun of it.
I love it.
You may have.
I love it. Go check that article out so you can see those videos over on our notes. It'll be linked over at the show for the show at AwesomeCast.com. That's great. Let's see. Chilla, is this you talking about 3 monitors?
Yeah. So I saw this article last night and it caught my eye, and it was someone on Polygon was talking about they have 3 monitors in their living room. And it all started from being in a small apartment and trying to like play a video game on a Switch but watch TV on like their laptop. And then it goes into like current they got married, they moved out of their house. They moved out of their apartment and they moved in with their significant other. Maybe they're not married yet. They're at least engaged and about to be married. But it was pretty much this setup that they set up in their living room, and it's 2 43-inch screens mounted with a smaller TV. I can't remember what it was. It's at the bottom. He gives the specs for all the stuff. 255-inch 4K screens with a 40-inch 1080p screen on top. And it's pretty much so they can play the games they want to play and be in the same room, but also watch TV at the same time.
So there's somebody that we know, and I won't name shame him just in case, but I have somebody I know who, when he moved in with his soon-to-be wife, they did a 2 TV setup in the living room. And it was that thing, like, so somebody can watch while somebody's playing video games, or he can watch Parks and Rec while he's playing video games. And that carried over to their new place, too, because I think it was at both places they had. And I was just like, I don't know if I'd want to. And I did it for a minute. I did it for a minute in the living room. But you know, I think anything I do, I can pull up on a phone with streaming and everything. But I could see, no, I get it. I absolutely get it.
What I thought it was interesting that they were both such gamers that like they have 2 PlayStation 5s and a Switch hooked up.
Wow.
And then, but then they're constantly playing TV with subtitles.
Wait, is part of this that they like had recently moved in together?
Recently, yes. Recently they moved, yeah.
So it wasn't too wild.
But it was based. They I think they kind of shared the apartment. It alluded to the fact that while they probably had separate apartments, they were probably spending most of the time in one of the apartments.
Well, you can see, like, I bought the PlayStation for my place, you bought yours, so we're
consolidating. I don't think that was the case.
Oh,
I
no.
think this was, we moved in and we got 2 TVs and 2 PlayStations.
And they're like, no, this is by design. Yeah, okay, all right. Hey, well, you know, if both of you want to play online for a game, you need your own console and TV, right? Because I mean, who does split screen?
Because that's the interesting thing. Yeah, because we've been playing around with split screen on a bunch of games at our house because there is no 2 TVs mounted on the wall.
Yeah. I think this is a perfectly adequate solution to a problem. Katie, what do you think? Would this solve some relationship issues for you?
I just use the TV. Well, so much. I'm the only one who plays games too, so. And everything else is done on the screen.
Yeah, that's the thing too. My wife's been only playing phone games for the last 6 months, and I was like, "Don't you want to get back into Assassin's Creed?" And she's like, "No, she's just playing this thing." I was like, "Okay, all right." So, I've been I've been slowly like trying to trick her and like leave the Xbox on and leave the house to go to work and see what happens. So, no, I think that's completely. It's a good layout there. So, also like, I mean, I have like 2 monitors on every working desk I have at least minimum. So, but let's look at. Let's see here. Have you guys seen this concept of crypto videos?
No.
I don't know if it's awesome, but it's interesting. So the idea is that through blockchain, much like what Bitcoin or I think Dogecoin is on the same thing, blockchain everything. If you listen to certain startup-y kinds of things, but the idea is that through the security of blockchain and those kinds of things, you can purchase. We talked about collecting before the show with Funko Pops and comic books, Chilla. So imagine that concept, but the idea is you own, say, a video. Let's say, and I heard this example on our podcast, like let's say we took the first episode of AwesomeCast. It's like, who wants to own this video? And we're talking about a digital file that ideally you can duplicate, multiple times. But the idea is, maybe there's like the master copy of that video, you put it in a blockchain, you sell it to somebody, that person now owns the digital object. Just like when you buy a Mario or Hello Kitty hat in Animal Crossing, but actually more secure probably than having it on your Nintendo account, right? So
I wonder like where this will transfer to, not just a video, because when I think about it, like have you seen, and I mean, I collected baseball cards and different types of trading cards as a kid, even in Magic in high school, whatnot. You can now download apps where you have to like buy virtual packs of like Topps cards.
Topps has cards. I think New Japan Pro Wrestling has one of those. Multiple. Yeah, no, it's like here's a digital trading card thing, and again, it's just kind of attached to your phone account or something, right?
But now you could own the digital card and then trade. Would you trade? I guess it's like a key.
Yeah, basically. So the biggest thing that example of this, the biggest thing that's taken off apparently is something called, if you go to NBATopShot.com, they are selling videos of moments from just from games, right? And there's kind of a digital presentation to it. You can actually go in and purchase packs just like you would something like your baseball cards, your basketball cards, whatever the case may be. And of course you can trade and everything, to the point where some of these are selling and reselling for like obscene amounts of money. Here, do you want a jump shot from December 26, 2020, base series? Common, I think that means there's 15,000 of these. Lowest asking price is $60. There's another one before I clicked, that's 122. Although, we can watch it, but do you own it? Highest price, $222,222.
What's weird is it's not like you own the rights to that clip.
No, yeah, because like it's still owned by the NBA, right? But like this trading card object, people are spending $1,000 for, $200 for, $100,000 for. It's insane.
Well, did you see? I know Mikey from Mikey and Bob on 96.1, our friends. He was in line to buy them, and it was like tens of thousands. You are like number blah blah blah, like 60 some thousand, and there's this many people ahead of you just to buy the card.
Yeah,
to buy these.
Yeah, it's so looking at those prices, these are tech people, right? Have to be tech-minded people that even care about something like this, that have money. So it's everybody from Google that's doing this. Probably. So, but that's the big thing to look out for. The first I heard about it was this idea. We have an article that I'll probably throw in there. So SB Nation, a sports website, actually, well, it's a sports website, so probably not a lot of people know about cryptocurrency at the, over there as a standard audience member. But they have a pretty good breakdown of what it is, why is it important. It talks about here's a block by Zion Williamson against the Nuggets from January 2020 with the asking price of $250,000. That would be the highest priced Top Shot available at an auction as of this article. So, yeah, and I love they're asking like why would you do this when you can watch the same shot for YouTube, on YouTube for free, no material value. But the idea, I mean, there's this sense of ownership because it is tied to you. I mean, just like, how you can say how real is something like Bitcoin, right? It's kind of a relatively same concept. So, oh boy, we'll see where those go. I'm sure. Are they going to have the what's that lasting value? How's that college fund process saving going to go for somebody?
Because I just don't know what you do with them.
No, me neither. Chilla, you had something very specific to talk about Nerf.
Nerf is shrinking its balls.
Okay.
So you can fit more inside.
And next story.
But this actually, so if you play Nerf and you're tired of loading the darts into the gun and all of that, all of the time that it takes to load up your typical Nerf dart gun, and I've even looked at the rival where there's like the balls that you put in. This is more of like a hopper system, and the balls are like 30%, I think, or 30% smaller, and they shoot up to 70 miles per hour.
Oh, jeez.
And you can load, what are they saying, about 200 balls in, or no, so the rival blaster with a 100-shot hopper could now theoretically hold 400 hyper rounds.
Jeez.
But they're not backwards compatible, of course. But what I thought was pretty interesting about these is the guns aren't that. I mean, if you've seen some of the guns, they can get ridiculously expensive. The base gun is like $30 for the Hyper Rush, $40 for the Hyper Siege, and $70 for the Hyper Mach. I think the Hyper Mach is the only one that's the mechanical, like electric firing, where the other ones are pump action, which I prefer pump action.
Uses D-sized batteries for the Hyper Mach 100.
We have a bunch of the electric ones, and they jam. They don't end up working right. I am a much more. I lean towards the pump action.
So, I'm used to seeing the ones with the darts. I don't know about these ball ones. So, like, what's the method for finding them?
Well, they're neon yellow.
Okay. Yes, but
so, I mean, it's not much different than the darts, depending on what color dart you have. Like even finding most of our darts are like dark blue, and they're not always super easy to find, other than the neon orange tip. I imagine like out in the yard, whatever, you're going to be able to find them pretty easy. Or you're just going to, I hope you don't just let them go, but I guess you could just, because I know we've definitely lost some darts that have gone over the hill. And we'll see them like washed up after a hard rain. But I don't know. I think it's a super, I like the idea.
Awesome.
But I guess I don't know what they'll look like littered all over the inside of my house, though. I don't know if you want to shoot at a 3 TV setup.
I need like the innovation I need is the Nerf recall system that, or I guess in the house case, I guess you need some kind of a joint Nerf finder Roomba of some sort, but
I've seen this for like Legos where like they have the Lego thing. And I think actually they do make a Nerf dart pickup thing.
Really.
Yeah, it's like it almost looks like a bucket on like a stick, and it has like these prongs, and the prongs rotate and kick the darts up into like another hopper, and you just wheel it around your house.
Is it the Nerf picker upper?
Is that what it's called?
Oh no! Wait a minute! Oh, I got a review from somebody over here. Here, I'll have an image in a second here, from over.
There it is.
Coop 772. It looks like the old Amish lawnmower.
I have one. I have that type of lawnmower.
Yeah.
Don't make fun of me.
Yeah, no, I got one too. Because I'm like, oh, it's a small yard. Then I'm like, screw this. But no, show the thing, not you talking about it. But yeah, the idea is it'll clean up and the little grates will get it. And this guy reviews it and he's really, really excited about it. So yeah, there you go. So I learned something today about Nerf, that's for sure. So Katie, did you have another one in here you wanted to hit up, or one of these other stories you want to touch on?
Is Chilla going to talk about his other glow in the dark thing?
What other glow in the dark thing?
Are you going to talk about what was in your box? I thought you were going to talk about what was in the box. We're not talking about what's in the box. Your legacy item.
Oh no, I wasn't going to talk about that.
Oh, okay. Secrets.
I thought you were going to have two glow in the dark things.
Chilla secrets. Chilla secrets. Can we talk about super followers for a second?
That's the new Twitter.
It's a new Twitter thing. It's a new payment feature. They've announced, it's not rolled out yet, I don't think. So it's called Super Followers. It will allow Twitter users to charge followers and give them access to extra content that could be bonus tweets, access to community groups, subscriptions to a newsletter, or a badge indicating your support. In a mock-up screenshot over here on The Verge, the user charges $4.99 a month to receive a series of perks. So, I mean, this is the idea of your, I don't know, he doesn't really charge for things, but I was thinking your Gary Vaynerchuk's, or, the Twitter personalities that are given a lot of important information there. Like, I mean, I guess we could, if we were AwesomeCast, our awesome tips could be something that you pay for or something like that if we were thinking along those lines, but we like to give that kind of stuff for free. But yeah, a kind of more specialized thing. If you have the audience on here, I don't know, Katie, do you see this, where do you see this kind of applying?
I mean, if we were using it for AwesomeCast, I could be like, Chilla, tell me about your glow in the dark thing, and you're like, you got to go on Twitter.
Yeah, go on our super followers and we'll completely tell you about it, right?
Yeah, but I think I think there's a place for it. It's everybody's talking about. It's the where you pay money for different level Patreon. There we go. We have those.
Yeah.
It's the just a different version for Twitter contained within Twitter. Which it's weird for me to see Twitter doing things like this because they're usually a little bit more, I don't want to be behind on things, but they've been kind of taking things and giving them a much more unique twist than, let's say, for example, like Instagram's been doing, just kind of copying things. But like, this is, I think I mean, there's definitely a market for it, especially because I think there are a lot more people moving back to Twitter for whatever reason they're choosing. And there's money to be made.
Yeah. Go ahead, Chilla.
I think this is so I've heard that a lot of people have been leaving Patreon because like they changed their, like some of the stuff you could do from keeping track of metrics and who's in which group. And I've seen a lot of people, or I've heard a lot of people starting to talk about leaving that platform that were pretty into the Patreon options. And I'm wondering if this is an answer back to that, because I mean, think about, how do you find out about people's Patreon? It's typically, at least from what I've seen, it's typically Twitter or a podcast like this, right? If you can keep them in the ecosystem and you can provide a better platform, I think it just makes sense. So I'll be interested to see how far they can take this, and hopefully they don't give up on it too quickly.
Like, certainly if you're a Twitter person, right? If your audience is definitely there and you've built that audience over the time, like, your answer to monetize that was, well, where can I take my Twitter followers that, you know, they'll spend money, right? Is that pushing them to a podcast that you sell ads? Is that pushing them to a store that sells your product or book or seminar or webinar, something, right? Whatever that looks like, you know. And now if that is an informational content thing, you can do it right there and don't even have to leave the platform. And Twitter has another way to hopefully, because I don't think Twitter is terribly profitable still for all the success that they've had. Like, they, you know, they're not scaled the same way that Facebook is, for as much as we talk about it.
And I think, like, Patreon, like, you're seeing, a lot of us are seeing, like, Patreon and OnlyFans and folks who are making money using these platforms aren't able to promote their particular, like, their Patreon or their OnlyFans on other social media platforms. They're getting throttled and it's not going anywhere. It's almost like, for example, where we have all these networks like Paramount Plus, we have Discovery Plus, Disney Plus, and, like, having to keep everything in these, like, instead of just, like, having cable where you're, like, this general fundraise, you know, where you make money across all platforms, we're having to, like, make money on these separate individual social media platforms so that they're spreading our information and how, you know, are spreading our particular sites, you know, like on Twitter and stuff, instead of just, like, this big net of things. We're gonna have to, like, okay, this is where I make money from my Twitter followers, this is where I make money from my Facebook followers, my Instagram followers.
I mean, it is an interesting stretch, because, and again, some people are in different boats where they're like, hey, Twitter's where everybody's at, and how do you move that over? I mean, I know we struggle with, on some of our products that we do, you know, including the podcast, I guess, to a certain point, of, you know, having it everywhere so everybody can find it, because, you know, versus hey, everybody's over here. Well, Facebook would be it. Facebook's where the most of the people are for this show and our Wrestling Mayhem show, for sure. But what can we do with that? I guess I don't know. They say we can sell things now, so I don't know. I guess I'll sell T-shirts through there. But no, it's interesting. It's another option that social media managers have to, the frustration of our friends in social media management that we've been talking with over the last week over this and other platforms. So I don't know. It's definitely worth looking at. Has anybody else been getting the is it Spaces that they have now? Hold on, I'm sure either Kit Mueller or Jason Calacanis are using it right now as I speak. But up where your fleets are, you know, the Instagram story ripoff, which is the Snapchat ripoff. There are, I wish I had one up here so I could show you, but sometimes you'll see, like, two of those circles kind of bound together. For me, it's like a purple kind of thing. And you click on that and you join it, and it's Clubhouse and Twitter, basically. And somebody's having a conversation and can invite people in and everything like that. It seems that they're only letting in, like, kind of high-level Twitter users at this point. A few check marks out there that maybe have it. But I'm sure we're all going to have this eventually. And now you'll just have a little bit of variety at the top. I mean, do you guys see that taking on more than Clubhouse, or is it just going to fizzle like Fleet seems to have? Chilla, Katie? I
don't know if I see it catching on, because I don't feel like that's why I'm there.
Yeah.
Like, that's not. I don't know. I'm not. I don't go to Twitter for live type stuff. What would be interesting is if you could parlay it into an event. Like, that's where, like, I feel like, oh, hey, the Pens are playing, I'll go see what's happening on Twitter. Or, hey, this award's going on. If you tied that into high profile events that are getting Twitter coverage, I could see it catching on. I feel like I'm much more apt to go into Instagram or go into TikTok and see, oh, someone's live, and go watch. But even that's a matter of happenstance. I don't, it's not my destination for that type of content.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the algorithms between like Facebook, Instagram, whatever else, Twitter's the only one that's the as it's happening algorithm. So you're able to go and see. But that's where I go for things like that. Like as if I'm watching something or if I want news on something or if I want to know what's happening right now, that's when I would go to Twitter. But I don't mindlessly scroll videos as much on Twitter because that's what all the other ones are for.
If unless there's a Facebook group like thread for something specific, you're not going to go there. You're really not. But I mean, that's what they've always been good at, right? And I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens with that. Well, we're hitting about the end of the time, and I got nothing. I was trying to make another.
If anyone, so I have a question for I don't know if anyone on the show has one, but if anyone has a Dispo invite, I'm super interested in checking out the platform.
What is Dispo? So
Dispo is the new social media app that's the anti-Instagram.
Anti-Instagram.
It reminds me of Instagram. Like from what I'm hearing about it, kind of like back in the day Instagram. Remember when Instagram you couldn't like import a photo and you had to take photos with the Instagram app?
Mm-hmm.
So Dispo, you have to take pictures in the app and it's like a disposable camera. They don't develop until 9 a.m. the next morning.
So you like literally have to so there's like this flux of everybody's pictures from the day before, right?
Yeah. Like I'm super interested in this, and even from the social networking aspect of it, I think it would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it would be gimmicky and roll off, like I'd get sick of it after a while, or quickly. I don't know. But I'm super interested in what this would be like.
It seems a little gimmicky. I don't know, but maybe it would just take all of those. I mean, those hipster OG Instagram users, right? In the long run,
right? But I'm trying to understand, like, what I'm like. Do they have? Is there any commenting? Is it just collections of photos? I'm just super interested in how the platform works and what kind of reach you could get. In this type of realm. It looks like there's some type of commenting, but it's by invite only, so I can't get in.
And that's the thing that kills it. It's like Clubhouse, because it's like, okay, let's use this thing, and then it's like, well, nobody's on here, and then everybody gets on after I don't care anymore. So you didn't get into the vibe of it, right? So I'm still trying to figure out how to use Clubhouse. That makes sense. I can't add one more thing that's like only that. Like, I want to tie Clubhouse in, and I listened to a podcast of somebody that did this. I want to take a phone and tie it into the board so we could like Clubhouse AwesomeCast to Clubhouse and be able to invite people in live
to speak on the panel.
Hey, what do you think about this? Maybe it's not AwesomeCast, but maybe it's a something of a call-in help show of some sort for tech and social media. Like that's a big idea I've been working with, but I think I need a little bit of hardware in order to do that appropriately. So I don't know, it's floating, but anyways, well, we're running short on time, so Chilla, we're gonna let you go before you hurt yourself again. All right, so at Chilla on the Twitters,
John Chilla on the Facebooks.
All over the place. And, of course, the Dudders. Dudders on the Twitter, on the Instagram.
Kate Marie PGH. I've got my Nerf gun.
Jeez.
My zombie strike Nerf gun with the darts. No balls here, just darts.
Nice neon green that you can find at least.
I know.
I think I have a Super Soaker somewhere. Like, that's all I don't. The closest I have, because I have one of the old Ghostbusters. It was the Ghostbuster gun from the original toy line that, like, you push the thing in and shot a poof. I don't know. It was like a barrel looking thing. So that was the closest to Nerf I think I had. So, and it still works. Still mostly works. So. Also, don't leave water in the water guns. We had one of those Ghostbuster ones too, and it's pretty ripe. Anyways, guys, please go check out everything at AwesomeCast.com, at Sorgatron on the Twitter. And if you're curious about the ordeal that I've been going with the last month, we talked about both Jim and I on Fishing Without Bait were positive for COVID, and we talked about that over there, and that released here this depending on your list this past week. So go check that out, fishingwithoutbait.com, about what that experience was like and why Katie had to host a show a couple of times last month. So thank you everybody who's been joining us in the chat room. I know I wasn't terribly on. I got a little bit of a new workflow here tonight that I'm still kind of dealing. Oh man, a lot of people were commenting that I unfortunately had not been checking in on. But hey, what's up, Podner? What is up, Steve? What is up, Amanda? That were chatting in there. I'm sorry, my chat room wasn't refreshing. There it is. But thank you, everybody. We'll see you guys next week. Your awesome audience. Have an awesome week. This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.